welcome back to Spells from the Shelf. I'm Ammie.
I'm Paul, and today we're doing the Tainted Cup. National best-selling author Robert Jackson Bennett.
Yes, we have. It's such a cool cover.
Look at this. We both have the books. This is not usually the case.
No, this is not usually the case. Usually, I read the. I've been in a pattern where I do the audiobooks for the podcast. I think it's because then I get through them quicker.
Okay. Yeah. Did you do both on this one? Did you do the audio and?
I didn't.
Okay, I did both on this one.
Oh, you did? I heard the audio is good.
The audio is fun. It's got so English accent, and it's one guy that does all the accents, and it's really a good time.
Yeah, I heard it was a good one.
I enjoyed it because we know that the narrators can completely ruin an audiobook, so I've been reticent to do them. But sometimes it's just like, all right, let's give it a try because I've got the Audible credit. But this one was a great audio narrative. That's
what I did here. I actually have a Libby hold for the second book. So I'll start out by saying the great news here is that this does end. This has like an ending to the mystery that is going to be talked about in this book.
But there's the Leviathan series.
Yes. So it is a series, and this is one of those ones that's interconnected that you're definitely going to have to read in order. So you cannot skip around. I can already,
You don't want to skip either. Like this is a phenomenal read, especially I think Ammie and I were talking before we got on stage here that there's not a ton of fantasy and mystery, right? And like these mystery fantasy, and we've kind of got like this mutation biopunk world going on and creatures in the background. And the mystery kind of takes forefront, but there's all these things that are happening as part of the storyline that just really build up a great world. Yes.
And actually, I found another magical mystery author, Esme Addison. She's actually from North Carolina, from the area. And her series got me excited to finally pick this up off my shelf.
Yeah. So Hugo Award winner, right? 2025 Hugo Award winner is the Tainted Cup, as well as a 2025 World Fantasy Award. So not only nationally best-selling author, but tons of awards for this particular book.
Yes, this is very much Sherlock Holmes meets fantasy. But Sherlock Holmes, and because we love a good literary archetype reversed around here, Sherlock Holmes is a female in here. And
female and sensory deprivation, which is like as opposed to the usual Sherlock where he's like observing everything.
Yeah.
You see this done in the movies really well where he just captures the scene like all in like quick fire shot Guy Ritchie style. But here, the main character, Anna, or the Sherlock Holmesian character, is wearing a blindfold to cut down the amount of stimulation that she receives from the outside world. So it lends this really cool piece to the story, or character that really builds up her character. She just walks around with the blindfold the whole time and touches stuff. And
I imagine Helena Baumgartner.
Helena Bonham Carter?
Yeah. Yes. Especially from Enola Holmes, because she was in those movies, which is Sherlock Holmes adjacent. Yeah. And that's exactly who I imagined the main character Anna with. And of course, per usual, we are doing no spoilers, and then we'll announce when there will be spoilers for the rest of the time, just so you can see if this is going to be what you would like to put on your TBR. So we're going to get into the synopsis.
All right. So I think we've covered the Holmesian, but you start off with a murder mystery, and the book kind of opens up with this murder, and it kind of unfolds from there. And I think a lot of, we talk about the Holmesian piece, because if you've read Sherlock Holmes, at the end, there's the maestro comes into play and Anna's like, she's got everybody in a room and she lays it all out. So that's kind of like the Holmes piece. And it is, while you're expecting that, I think it's just a really fun part. So you've got this magical system, right? You've got the engravers that memorize things through scent. They smell like lye or some other, that comes in a vial, and they sniff it, and then that's when the engraver absorbs everything. And that's kind of Anna's counterpart, Dinius Cole.
Dinius Cole, yes.
Who's the engraver who sees everything, and she's like, I need your eyes. And he needs her mind, her like logistical calculating mind. And they form this great partnership, kind of mashup of Roman military culture, British Victorian era. So the beginning, the military, the military breakdown. We got the princeps.
Oh, yes.
The Perfecto. That's right out of like Roman military.
Oh, yes,
yeah, Commander Perfecto, Immunis, Signum. Yeah, there we go. Better looking on, bigger on the hardcover.
Yeah. Yes, it looks a lot thicker. We were remarking on that. And then this is a map that we have. I'll get like a closer picture of it. And I liked that aspect of it. I felt like it was Murder, She Wrote means Sherlock Holmes. And fun fact about me, guys, is my roots are mystery. I know, that's crazy.
I know, Ammie. We need some more. We're going to dig into more of this magical mystery land.
My roots are mystery. I grew up reading every single Nancy Drew book that I could get my hands on.
Okay.
I love a good mystery. They scare me sometimes.
Did you find this one scary at all?
No, not at all. Yeah. But this is a very descriptive book. So Paulie did a great job on the synopsis here. What magical element also comes in is it's also like biochemical magic. Which
felt like there was like this biopunk mutation. Like for any of the gamers, like what happens to some of the characters, the way the book opens is you've come upon this murder where somebody, like flowers and trees just sprout out of the chest and the face and the eyes. And it was very like Victorian horror. It felt like I was like, this is like a picture of Dorian Gray where it's like the heinous person, but pictures instead.
I feel like the author did a really good job of pulling in so many different elements. Cause very Victorian horror where Denius, when he goes into the scene and you are like, that's the opening as you're opening up into this murder scene. Denius goes in and he describes how pieces of the body are on different parts of the tree. Yeah,
the lead cop on the scene, the first cop on the scene is like, "Oh, this is your first murder investigation. This should not be your first."
Yeah, this should not be right. And it was,
which builds it up, right? It builds up that tension. And it was fun. It was a great first chapter. It pours you right in.
It does. It pours you right in. Much to my husband, our sound guy's dismay, I read this while we were doing a drive to a wedding in Texas. And because it's such a big book, I was like blocking. He couldn't see. Yeah. Oh. He was like, I can't see. And I was like, well, I'm not putting the book down. So we need to make this work.
I'm telling you, like this book it moves quick. It keeps you engaged the entire time. It does. Like there wasn't as much action as in something like Red Rising, but I felt very much the same way where I was like, I don't want to put this down. I just want to keep going.
Oh, yeah. You really don't want to. And like we said, we have our two main characters. Anna's the high-ranking investigator. She's extremely brilliant, extremely eccentric.
Likes her narcotics.
Loves her narcotics. Which
there's your Holmes era homage.
So Holmes. Yeah. Oh my God. So Holmes. And then Denius, he has that magically enhanced memory that allows him to recall all the details so that he can report back to Anna. And of course, we wouldn't have a series if this didn't unveil more. So you get a peek behind the curtain that it's so much more than just this mystery. And it creates this really like fast-paced whodunit, but yet who is the man behind the curtain? Like who's pulling the strings? What's happening? It's very tense, very tense.
Yeah, and the whole world and political system, like the governing system, and the whole reason the world exists in the way that it does is because of these giant leviathans.
Yes.
Right, which again you see in Victorian literature, but their whole system is built around defending their walls from this creature. Because the leviathans try to break through the walls and get into the land and like cause their own chaos. So the tension is happening in the background where some engineers died that were manning the walls, that were fortifying the walls. And as you're going along, you're like, well, what's to gain by having the walls break? Like, and I thought it was a really good lead with the engineer piece because it's somewhat faint, somewhat not. We'll get into that a little bit later, but
no, there was good. There's some alchemy elements in here. There's some biological elements in here. There's some engineering elements. I mean, there's really something for everybody here. I'm accidentally in an alchemy era. It's not a bad accident. It's a happy accident. In comparison to alchemize is a much thicker we're talking like you are submerged in alchemy and the like details of alchemy. This was a nice light come
kind
off
of in the
from
foreground,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Like the mystery's front and center.
Yes.
And all like the magic, the world building is and the fantasy elements are kind of in the background, but they all play really important parts, right? Like it's very much like a logistical jumping through places and really masterfully done. Even like for people that aren't as into fantasy, but just like mystery, I think you'd get hooked in. I think audience wise also, like if you're into the fantasy, you're not upset about it being somewhat in the background because it is foundational to the world and the story.
Oh yes. I found the world is really easy to drop into. This is one of those, this would be a great palate cleanser book too if you are reading some thick series, some thick books that have a lot of different elements to them and you've just been submerged in it for too long. So it really could be a book for everybody. You know, you could have like the super fantasy readers.
Yeah, I love that call out. I think it's a palate cleanser for anything.
Yeah.
Like if you've been doing too much sci-fi, you've been doing too much fantasy. I don't know if there's such a thing for Ammie, but if you've done too much romantasy, it's a palate cleanser that just like, oh, man, this was really great.
Yeah, it's a great palate cleanser. It kind of like, it clears the mind. It makes you feel like you can read fantasy again. It does, because like I've realized that I've been going too hard with fantasy and sci-fi.
Where?
Not
here.
No, not here.
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah.
Not here on this podcast.
No, you know what it is? It's because I'm not just reading these books. I'm reading so many other books. And what's happening is I used to read way more palate cleansers. I used to read way more mystery books. I used to read way more romance books in between the books. I haven't been doing that for like a year and a half. This was the first like palate cleanser that I read this year. And I was like, oh, okay. So
call me back.
Yeah. My brain can think again. It could get like intense. Like you're seeing maps everywhere. And like, sometimes it's just a lot.
There's always got to be a map. Like after Tolkien, that's it, man. It's maps. Like,
it's maps all the time.
If you're doing a fantasy book.
Oh, there's maps. There's so many names.
It's funny at BookCon, they've got like the map drawing, like come and draw your fantasy map. We went to a fantasy map drawing class that I loved.
Oh, that was so much fun.
It was a blast.
I don't know if we would have had as much fun as we did. We did a fantasy for anybody local in North Carolina, Daughters, Books and Coffee. They did a fantasy map making. We didn't pay anything.
No, we just went.
We just went. It was amazing.
You're local. And if you're not local to North Carolina, like your bookstore's probably doing something similar if they've got a big fantasy section and a big audience for it.
Yeah. I mean, so
look at your bookstore for their events is what we're trying to tell you.
You really should, guys, because they do a lot of things. Like they really do. They're not just there for the books. You can build a community. You can turn this hobby into
it's a new source of revenue too, right? Like the programming piece, right? Like a lot of the times I think the indie bookstores, they'll have like authors come and do the signings, and that's kind of part of the modus operandi of the bookstores. But I think this era of more programming, right? Like Fable here in North Carolina has their own room for birthday parties and stuff like that. They could do like a podcasting studio there. Like there's all these pieces. So the indie bookstores definitely become like more of a dynamic meeting area, like for community, like you said.
Well, because reading books is such an individual hobby. If you think about it, if you're just reading books, it's a very individual,
solitary,
very solitary hobby. You're not, and it's good for introverts and ambiverts for sure.
I'm an intense extrovert.
He's an intense extrovert.
And I need like my quiet book time, right? Like,
so it's reading is, but that's what I think the community aspect comes into play. I mean, we've even expanded it further by talking to you guys at great length about books. But what's interesting about the Leviathan creatures is the first time that I heard about those is actually from the show Supernatural. You guys know I love pulling in other TV shows and movies that remind me of it. And I liked getting to see them in a different light because Leviathans is not something that you get to see a lot of in fantasy book. That's also something you really don't get. Like we're always doing the same creatures over and over and over again.
Dragons. Is there a dragon in this book?
Yeah, right?
My wife makes fun of me all the time. It's like, oh, another book about dragons in it? Okay, cool.
No, Patrick does the same thing to me. It was like, does it have dragons? And I'm like, no, it does not have dragons.
I know. So, yeah.
And there's such great themes in here. You have, I mean, this theme, I feel like we see in so many fantasy books because, guys, you learn things from fantasy books. This is an overarching theme over here.
Oh, yeah.
You can learn things from fantasy books. So there is themes of corruption of power here. Mm-hmm. And how much of your humanity are you willing to sacrifice for the greater good? Because, you know, I'm going to do a harken back to Slewfoot for a moment.
Okay.
Where...
Oh, Our Lady.
Yeah.
Our Lady goes all savage and she's ready to just completely kill. Right.
And that line of, yes, a wrong has been done. How much of your humanity are you willing to sacrifice to get?
And in Slewfoot, she becomes anthropomorphic at that point too, right? She's becoming part beast.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a great visual, but it's such a great theme that you see throughout. And I felt like this book also did a good job with that theme.
Yeah.
Like a fantastic job with it.
And the Leviathans are pretty interesting in the story too, right? Like their bones have magical properties similar to the way we'll see dragons in some stories, but there's this element of like magic in their blood. And when the last Leviathans that crawled into the ring, they give you like a brief history to kind of reinforce the world. Weird plants grow around it. So it's not just a sea creature, right? Usually like Leviathans are generally just like sea creatures, but this one comes into the land.
Yeah, they're very creepy. But they do a really good job at being creepy. And another great element here, which I don't feel like we get a lot of in a lot of books, is environmental dread. The attempt that so humans love to try to control nature. And
bonsai.
Love to try to control. Yeah.
Right. The bonsai is a perfect example.
Perfect example. And I'm drawing a blank on the poet, but he did a poem about seeing a building that was vacant for a number of years and how nature took it back. It just started growing around it. Like there were animals inside, there were bugs inside of the house. It was taking this house back and covering it whole. We cannot, I don't know if anybody's told you this, guys, but we don't have control over nature. I hate, if you didn't know that, now you know. And I liked that this book brought that theme to the forefront. I thought I did a great job with that. Like a fantastic job.
Yeah, it kind of harkens to some of like the climate anxiety we see and some, that environmental dreads. That's what the Leviathan is, right? The whole world, like as I was mentioning earlier, is built around fortifying against these creatures invading, like the political system, the government system, the way the characters operate. They're waiting for the flares in some of the scenes. And again, it helps kind of that environmental dread helps build the tension.
Oh, yeah. No, it really does. I thought that this book did a great job of keeping that tension alive. You have good dialogue here. You're getting good pieces of the puzzle yourself. I liked that it's not so easy to guess what's going to happen. I did not find it predictable, and I'm somebody who very much works off of pattern recognition. So I look for patterns in a lot of things, and it's never the book's fault. If I figure it out, it's because of my pattern recognition. Yeah. But when a book can throw me off of your scent. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good. I like that.
So we could probably start moving into the spoiler section there. I feel like it's kind of a perfect segue.
I think it is a great segue. Do you want to give your rating first before we move in?
Oh, I'm going 5 on this one. I did not want to put it down. I kept reading. I was down flying for work lately. This past week. And it was just like, I usually, and I'm out like you're networking at work afterwards. And like usually for work trips, like, for pro or con, like you're out past normal work hours, just networking and building a team, right? As part of the camaraderie and team building. And I was like, I'm good after 10 o'clock, so I can go back and read my book. Which is unlike me on a work networking trip, but it was like that. So
that's good.
I really enjoyed the heck out of this one.
Yeah, it's good. I gave it 5 stars when I read it. I'm already willing to, I suspended the hold on Libby.
Are we agreeing on a rating?
We are.
People, that's a signal. That is a signal, my friends. Get this book.
We are agreeing on a rating. Our ratings have, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Perspective is key here, guys.
That's why there's two of us, because if it was just one, you might not be as interested.
Because here's the thing. We're giving our different perspectives on it to see. Now you have two different point of views. Stay off of Goodreads.
You don't need it. You only need us.
Yeah, Goodreads is a scary place sometimes. People be doing wild stuff on there. But yes, hop off if you want no spoilers. And thanks for joining us. Come back after you've read it, because I think you should.
Yeah, and let us know what you think.
Yeah. And now let us lead into the spoiler fun section. Yay! Did you guess who it was going to be? Because there's a couple of deaths that happened.
So I wasn't ready for the engineers being a total feint. Like, the engineer deaths ended up being an accident, and that I just didn't. I thought the story was going in the way that this was a more subversive plot by the Hazes, who we haven't talked about yet in this podcast.
Right.
But the Hazes are basically this governing. Well, they're not governed. They're not part of the political system. They're not part of the political system in the same way like that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are not part of our political system, but they are. They're these like proxies that can pull some of the strings. And I thought it was going to be a more nefarious plot where the Leviathan moving in to some of the rings would create more magical like advantage to the Hazes, and that was not what happened at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was a twist of all.
Great twist.
It was a really good twist, and actually, Patrick again was like, "That don't do that," which is fair. We were driving, and I went, "What?"
Terrifying the driver.
Oh, he was, and it's a long drive to Texas. So as you can imagine, this was like towards the end of the trip. The poor thing was like, it was like this.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it was a twist of twists. I mean, you do not see it coming. You think one thing, but you don't expect it to be this completely, different thing. And
I think that's what makes the twist so much good, when there's a twist upon a twist. Like, one twist is like, okay, that's usually very guessable.
Yeah.
But when authors are writing with a twist, like, you should only write a twist if there's going to be another twist on top of it. Right.
Yes.
And that's what Robert Jackson Bennett does really well. I was like, I know it's Robert Jackson Bennett does really well here.
No, he does. I mean, so our antagonist, Hestia, and this is where I started talking about
Hestia.
Was it not? Is that how you say it?
How do you spell it?
Hestia. How did you say it?
Who's Hestia?
Is it not Hestia? Pretty sure it was Hestia.
Fayazi?
Hold on. Because Hestia is one of
Uhad? So we just had a great moment where we were talking about how kind of the walls and there was some misdirection around the walls, and Ammie was telling us about one of her favorite misdirections, I think.
Yes, which is that they find out that I didn't think the political plot was going to play into this, where they were actually trying to order a corruption to the walls,
right,
to go another direction. So it's not that they don't want the walls at all, but they wanted to order a corruption to them so that they could. It harkens very well in this political plot, because it's like, no, I want to go with this direction because I'm in cahoots with this person. Yeah. They're giving me money. They're giving me some kind of exchange. There's some kind of quick pro quo going on. Yeah. So even if it's not the best course of action, I'm still going to do it. Yeah. And I'm going to hide behind it.
Yeah. What I really love too is, as a part of the reveal, is it was very simple why everything happened, right? Yeah. And I think I think you often see this in investigative and crime shows, if you've ever watched like CSI or like Bosch, for fans of cops, LA cops and crime. Bosch is a good one, but it all just boiled down to land. And right, this is why Oypat is left to die, because it increased the value of their land. And like, it was so great. Din was like, wait a minute, they did it all for land?
Yeah.
It was like they let a whole canton, which we'll just say is like a county. They let a whole county die because it was an agricultural hub. It just wasn't owned by the Hazes. And it was like, of course, that's the simplest explanation, right? It's Occam's razor, right? The simplest explanation is always what's probably happening here, not the more complicated one that you build up in your head and theorize around.
Right.
Occam's razor. Yeah.
And that's why I pulled in Slewfoot at the beginning part of this episode, because when you look into the Salem witch trials, it was to get land.
Yeah.
So if they wanted a woman's land, they would say, you're a witch. But you know what? They got their karma, because all of those women were also the healers and the midwives. and they killed them.
Yeah.
Morons.
Seriously.
But it's something so simple, but they built up and they send you down these like rabbit holes. And Din did. He got sent down so many different rabbit holes, and you go with him.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great because Din and Milgen are trying to figure it. They know Anna, our blindfolded, like, calculation expert, knows what's going on, right? She's got it, but she's not able to verify everything. But she's got the train of thought, and she's like, I'm pretty sure I know what happened, but I need to like tie it all together. And it's they're not necessarily bumbling around, because they're both truly effective at their roles. But I thought it was great, like how Milgen kind of ends. He's like, I'm going back to the walls. Like, this is what I know. This is where my expertise lies. They don't need brute force anymore. They need more intelligent folks like you. I just want to protect against the Leviathans. I don't want to protect against the people that are trying to erode us and corrupt us from within.
Yes. And I think that goes into, so one of my favorite quotes was, what a tool cynicism is to the corrupt, claiming the whole of the creation is broken and fraudulent, and we are all excused to indulge in whatever sins we wish for. What is a little more unfairness in this unfair world? And it was such a great quote.
That is a great quote.
And I loved it so much. I mean, it really paints a picture here, because, you start out in this book with the murder, and, you get that great image. And the imagery in this story is fantastic. You get a lot of great imagery. You're looking at some, gruesome things, but it's not too gruesome where you feel like you have to always like look away and it doesn't haunt you, which is nice. But I love how the quote here kind of ties in that there was more to this than just a murder mystery. Yeah.
And you really see that in the end with, like, Din ends up having a relationship, and there's some nuances to that relationship. And then what I love the most about Ana, and this happens towards the end too, he's trying to find out like what kind of alterations she's had, and she's like, this is simply who I am. She's like, but your abilities, the way and Din's like all confused. And he's like, my situation, she continued, made me amenable to an experiment, the nature of which should not bother you, for you would not be able to comprehend it. But if I hadn't been the person that I was, then the alterations would not have been a success. It was my choice. I changed and became. I self-assembled. Sen says Imperia. The empire is strong because it recognizes the value in all of our people. So basically, she doesn't really have a ton of the mutations. She's kept herself, like, the overstimulation isn't due to like the mutagen, right? That they take. It's just like she's exceptional because she's learned to operate in a world of mutagens and bio alterations. And I thought that was one of my favorite lines.
And I do
the
find
recognizes value in all its people.
Yes, because I felt like the augmentations was kind of like a nice pull of like a sci-fi element almost
100%.
Into it. Yeah.
And we're seeing that now, right? Like, I think we're officially in the era of like bio enhancements, right? You've got people like figuring out longevity. There's a big push in technology to do this, to kind of bring some of these sci-fi things to life. So while this is more like Victorian era, these bio enhancements are happening. So I thought it was a great addition into the story.
Yeah, very Minority Report. And there's also a movie with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson where they're clones, but they don't know that they're clones, and they think that the Earth is dead and they're forced to live in like this building, but they've been cloned so that if a very wealthy person needs a surgery or they want to like
get implanted in.
Yeah, they can get implanted in. If they want new skin, like, it's very,
Altered Carbon's a little bit like that. And then, Blade Runner, the clone of,
Blade Runner,
where they don't know they're clones.
That's another one. So again, you get so many different elements in this story for not a very thick book. at all.
So true.
I mean,
I don't know if the hardcover is different, but the soft cover, you're looking at 400 pages, which to me, that 350, 400 page is just a sweet spot.
Yeah, 406.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of funny.
Well, yeah.
It is kind of funny how much smaller. It's like, what in the world goes on?
The hardcover is like, it's definitely Big Brother. Right, it's definitely the Big Brother book.
It is.
But it's the same typeface and everything, but a little bit more. I think the pages are a little bit thicker too.
Probably for sure. But yeah, this is a great one, guys. There were so many different elements. I'm very curious to see where this goes because it really, again, it was not just about the mystery. Mm-hmm. Anna and Din ended up uncovering in a complete corrupt, like political government behind the scenes, doing all this crazy stuff. And we don't know where that's going to take us next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're going to be here for it.
Yeah, we're going to be here for it. That's for sure. I am a huge Sherlock girly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm a giant Anna girly. Anna boy. Anna fanboy is here. And then Din too. Like Din, I think we didn't talk too much about Din's story, but Din would basically kind of cheated on the exams, and Anna knew this, and that's why she picked him. But he's not this like hugely confident character, but he's so capable, right? And he really kind of comes into himself in the story too. So like Dinius was fun to follow as well as Anna. Yeah. Like they both have these vulnerabilities and these weaknesses, and they just kind of come together very effectively for a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, we both gave 5 stars on this.
Yeah, and let us know what you think. Like, let us know if you agree. Like, we don't mind a disconnect or like, I think you're wrong because.
Right. We're all going to walk away from books differently. So if you didn't like this book, I'm still interested to hear why.
Yes.
Don't be mean about it though.
Be kind.
Be kind.
All right. So follow us. Keep listening. We're happy to have our fans. Spellsfromtheshelf.com. Mm-hmm. Spells from the Shelf at Instagram.
And Facebook. I figured out Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook person, but I figured it out.
I love that. I figured out Facebook. There's obviously a gap, right? Like I grew up in the Facebook era and it's like, oh yeah, remember that thing? Like maybe we'll reach a different audience there.
If MySpace came back, I would understand that.
Oh man.
Thanks guys.
See you next time.
Bye.